Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review of The Bad Batch. Today, we're taking a look at two episodes, Infiltration and Extraction. And boy, oh boy, what a two episodes these were. And in terms of emotional impact, last week was definitely the better episode. But these two episodes, which are essentially one big episode, it's a two-parter. These were really good episodes. In a lot of ways, very harrowing episodes, filled with conflict and intrigue and suspense and returning locations. So let's get into it. So I thought it was really cool how, just getting this out of the way right off the bat, really cool how this clone base is on Teth. We're actually revisiting a location from the Clone Wars movie for the first time since 2008. I think that's the last time we saw. No. I'm wrong. I was about to say the last time we saw Teth was the Clone Wars movie in 2008. But I'm forgetting that we went to Teth again in season 3 of the Clone Wars, because that's where Zero the Hutt's father had been buried, and then where Zero the Hutt ended up being buried. Thanks, Ice Noodles. So yeah, but regardless, it's been a long time since we've seen Teth. But I think the bigger thing is that this is actually the Boamar Monastery from the Clone Wars movie, which is really cool. You can see at the very beginning, it's all bombed out. There's, debris from collapsed walls from the battle and everything. So it's really cool to see this area again. I thought that was a smart move. Also, it's a base that Rex would have been aware of, because skipping forward to Rebels here, that is why the Rebels seek out Rex, because Ahsoka knows that he's going to have a lot of good intelligence on where a good base would be. It's like, where can we set up a good base, and he would be someone that would definitely know all that. So very, very cool to see them having a base on Teth, although doesn't last very long, unfortunately. So anyway, starting out, we do have some nice connection to season 1 and season 2 now, where we have Senator Singh from the Raxus episode joining forces, it seems like, with Senator Chuchi, who of course is starting to become a kind of what's the word? I can think of the word in my head, but then it can't make its way to my tongue. That's annoying. It's annoying. I know what I say. Anyway, she's becoming a voice for the clones. There's the dumb way of saying it. I had a much fancier and smarter sounding way to say that, but she's becoming a voice for the clones. And it maybe sounds like they're trying to kickstart a little early rebellion. Maybe not even an early rebellion, but a secession movement. Yeah. Gee, haven't heard that before at this point in time in the Star Wars universe. That almost sounds like that would make her a separatist. Interesting how the tables turn. But yeah, so I'm sure that's not the last we're going to see of either of those characters, because we don't really get too much screen time with them before they are interrupted by one of the mysterious assassin clones. So again, we don't learn anything about who this guy is. He gets captured pretty quickly. Honestly, compared to the last guy who really put up a good fight and killed, a fair amount of people, this one was kind of lame. He knocked out one trooper, failed to kill anyone, and got stunned basically immediately by Hauser. So this guy kind of sucked at his job, but that works for our heroes, except for the fact that he had a tracker in him, which was unfortunate. But yeah, it was really, really cool seeing Rex's little clone rebellion starting to get set up. And it's very disappointing to see it immediately torn down, because we see several clones, some of who we saw before, near the end of season 2, and then a couple others that were brand new. And then most of them are immediately killed off. It's like, oh man, this show loves the clone troopers, obviously, considering the Bad Batch are the main focus, but it also knows what a life of a clone is like, and how, it's not really going to be a long, happy life for clones, and it understands that reality, which is, unfortunate for those of us watching that just want all of them to, live long, happy lives. It's like, no, it's like Fireball rushes forward with a flamethrower to cover everyone else, takes a shot to what it looks like the shoulder, so that may not have even been a fatal hit. But then he goes down, and his flamethrower ignites all the thermal detonators, and that surely killed him. He's buried under rubble. We see his hand later on in the second episode when Wolf finds it. So it's just very, very unfortunate. I'm always sad seeing these clones die, especially since the one doing a lot of the killing is another clone. So since I'm mentioning the other clone doing the killing, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way right off the bat here. Just a couple minutes in. Who is the new mysterious assassin clone? A lot of people are going to have their money on Tech. Something that I've seen a lot of people brought up is that when Crosshair was looking at him through the infrared, he has prosthetic legs because his legs did not give off a heat signature. So that seems like it would be likely that it could be Tech because maybe Tech was injured in his fall. I just don't want it to be Tech. I'm sorry, I don't. It's like there's some people going, but at least Tech could be alive. I'm like, but it's so lazy. It's like let him have the heroic sacrifice, please. And at first, when he starts doing stuff in the episode, I'm kind of thinking to myself, yeah, they're probably gonna make this guy Tech, but. And they put voice modulation on there through the helmet and everything, so it's sort of kind of hard to tell. But I don't know. After hearing him speak and seeing the things he does and stuff, I'm kind of in the camp of this is a clone of Crosshair. Unless they told D to specifically play it differently from Tech, even though this is supposed to be Tech. Just the mannerisms, the way he acted and everything, and the way the voice was, it gave me way more Crosshair vibes than Tech vibes. And I know that, but Tech's brainwashed, so of course he wouldn't sound like himself. Yeah, but Tech still has a very specific way of speaking that is different from all the other clones. And that was absent even through the voice modulation. Whereas if you were to remove the voice modulation, I bet you it'd sound way closer to Crosshair. Now they may end up pulling the wool over all of our eyes, and the fact, and this is not anyone. This is not Tech. It's not a clone of Crosshair. It's not Dogma. It's not Slick from season 1 of Clone Wars. It doesn't matter who this is because he's going to be killed off and never unmasked. This is just supposed to be a thorn in their side. And is supposed to represent a shadowy version of what Crosshair could have become, and who he actually is under the mask isn't important. So that's also a possibility, and I'd be A-okay with that. But Star Wars fans being Star Wars fans, we're going to speculate about who the heck this is. So I'm definitely in this is a Sparty clone of Crosshair that was grown very quickly. But I'd be okay with it being literally anyone else other than Tech, just as long as it's not Tech. I've also seen people think maybe it's Commander Cody. I would honestly be okay with that because we don't see Cody after Revenge of the Sith except for that one season or that one episode of Bad Batch last season. So this explaining what happens to Cody where he gets brainwashed and maybe Rex is able to turn him. And then he has to sacrifice himself to let everyone escape. I'd be okay with that. It explains what happens to Cody. It's a sad ending for sure, but potentially a satisfying one if they play their cards right. So I don't know. I do hope we see Cody again. Because he just seems like a big question mark right now, and the fact that we heard he went, it was like, maybe that's the thing, because Rampart says that he's AWOL, but if they recruited Cody against his will for a secret classified operation, then that probably would be the cover story. It's like, oh, he's AWOL. They'd either say he's AWOL or it's like he's off on another assignment, and then they just never say what the assignment is. So I think Cody's a possibility. It could literally be any clone. So yeah, we'll have to, maybe after next week or something, we'll get more screen time with this guy, and it will be more obvious that it's definitely Tech, or definitely a clone of Crosshair, or definitely Cody, or whoever. But I just really hope it's not Tech. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Good to see Wolf again. Speaking of kind of redemption arcs and everything. Miss seeing Wolf. He's not quite Grumpy Wolf that we know from Rebels. Not quite yet, but it was cool to see him. I found it very interesting that it seemed, because at the end of the first episode, you assume that he's like, no, he's not working, because if they're going in to get this target, you assume that they're, on the take, so to speak, that they're with the Tantus clones. But then they get there, and it seems like they're, like they've been given. It seems like they're just literally a squad of clones that got told, "Hey, go clean up this mess," and they're a little surprised by what the mess is. They're like, "These aren't insurgents; they're clones." It's like they're both. So Wolf's definitely not getting told everything. So I don't think he's with Hemlock and the whole Tantus operation. Probably. Wolf is probably like one of the last actual operating clone commanders with one of the last clone squads, if I had to take a guess. I did find it interesting, though, that he's like, the Empire wouldn't do that to us. It's like, hasn't the Empire just put most of your brothers out of a job at this point? So maybe it's like, but that's probably going to be something he brings up later. Because I'm also certain that we haven't seen the last of Wolf. I bet we'll see more of Wolf later on in the season. We haven't seen any more of him in the trailers, but I think I saw a video yesterday or the day before where someone went, here's all the clips we have left from the 2 trailers that we got for this season, and there's not a whole lot of clips left. We've seen we're not even quite halfway through the season. We have most of the clips from the trailer, so they're still hiding a lot, which I love, because this could literally go in any direction. Who knows where what directions those are. So Wolf is definitely coming back. We're definitely going to see more of him. I'm sure of it. Gregor was here very briefly. He didn't have a speaking role. But he stood there and looked cool. And then I think Hauser was literally the only other surviving clone from Rex's squad other than Rex himself. So hopefully they have others elsewhere and they weren't all congregated on Teth. Because that would really suck hard if they get back to whatever rendezvous point they're going to, and Chuchi meets up with them. She's like, "Where's everyone else?" And they're like, "Literally, everyone else is dead. The Empire came in and wiped us all out. It's literally just me and Hauser." It's like, stupid Empire, I hate you. Yeah, it's like, and something I do appreciate about the Bad Batch is that it seems like, if it's not like we're literally forced to do this because the situation is too dire, because most of the time the Bad Batch does use stun blasts against clone troopers. Stormtroopers they'll kill. Who cares about stormtroopers? But clones, usually they try to use stun blasts. There's only a couple times where they go full lethal. But I do like that whenever a clone does die in the Bad Batch, they usually treat it as, at least the way, and maybe this is just me. Maybe this is just my viewpoint on it. But every time a clone dies, it does seem like they kind of make a point to make sure we know that's a mournful thing. Because there's the just alone thinking back to the episode from last season, with Crosshair and Cody infiltrating that kind of separatist holdout. The clones that die in that episode, there's a moment with like each of them where Cody kind of addresses them as they die. And we never saw that from him in Clone Wars, mostly because at that point it's like, well, that's unfortunate that they died, but they died in the service of the Republic. This time around, though, whenever it's like the war's over, they survived the war, and this is how they go out. A couple months later, they get blown up by battle droids again, even though the war's supposed to. It's like, it seems kind of like a waste, and I do like that the show does focus on that, and they are going. It's like, what a waste that these men died like this. So this episode continues to do that. There's the fireball. He blows up in a fireball, and the show treats that as a pretty dramatic moment. There's the two that get caught outside in the shuttle explosions, and Wolf makes a note of that whenever he finds their bodies. Nimic, he gets shot in the back by the clone assassin, and Hauser yells his name in pain before he has to be dragged behind the rock by one of the Bad Batch. It's too quick. I couldn't tell who it was, but they had to drag him behind cover real quick because the shots were coming in. And then of course, I think a big example is Mayday Squad on that Imperial Frosty outpost. And then where it's like they all die, and the show's pretty makes a point about being remorseful about that, and then later in this season, last week, whenever Crosshair stacks their helmets. So I do really like that, because the Clone Wars, as much as I love the Clone Wars, a lot of time, unless it was like one of the named ones that was really around for a long time, that show killed clones left and right and hardly let you even think about them when they died, especially when they died in like horrific ways. Like the Geonosis Catacombs episode, you got two clones, just walking through the catacombs. They get swarmed by Geonosians, zombie Geonosians at that. One of them starts getting dragged to the ceiling, and the other one yells, "Gear shift, no!" and tries to drag him down. Then he gets swarmed by bugs. It's like, that's horrifying. And then also season 2, on board the Coronet with the assassin spider droids in the hold of the ship, and it's what is it, Red Eye and Mixer, I think, where they're killed off, and then their bodies are, and then one of them, their body is used as a puppet to try to trick Anakin. It's like, that's really disturbing. But they don't really focus too much on the fact that these troopers died all that much. They kind of pass by it pretty quick, because these are quick 22-minute episodes. So I do like that the Bad Batch spends just a little bit more time, at least, naming these clones, even if it's like right as they die. But it's a show about it. This is definitely a show about clone troopers. So I think it's fitting that they do that, because Clone Wars kind of evolved into a show about clone troopers. I mean, it seems like that was always their goal, but it started out, and the advertising and everything's like, no, this is about the Jedi, because there are big stars. They got the lightsabers, the Jedi, they're the popular characters. But eventually it really did start to. Clone Wars is just so good. It's like the ability for it to jump around and show different perspectives from different characters, and then get into everything with the clone troopers and that. It's like we can't. I don't think we can give Clone Wars enough credit for fleshing out not even just the prequel era, but Star Wars in general, because now we've got Bad Batch, and that's helping flesh out the Imperial era, the early Imperial era at that, which we haven't had too much from. We have plenty from like the late Imperial era, with of course the original trilogy and Rogue One, Rebels, and stuff like that. But it's really cool to see this early period where you've still got it's just a really cool mix of visuals, because you've got this stuff that looks sort of Imperial but also sort of Republic. So like the TK troopers, where it's like, yeah, they're kind of stormtroopers, but they're also kind of not. They're this in between of clone and stormtroopers, and it's really cool. And then like the V wings are still around, but they're not colorful anymore. They don't have any red on them. They're just gray, and they sound like TIE fighters. So we're getting closer to that point of the Imperial Navy, and Star Destroyers are all just gray, flat gray now. So so yeah, and then bringing back Teth and all that stuff here. It's like it was a really good kind of reminder of how far we've come, and I'm excited to see where we continue to go throughout the rest of the season, how it all wraps up and everything. Because I think by the end of the season we may have like an actual full on every single it's like most clone troopers kind of decide that we're done with the Empire, and they're either going to like go out full on in rebellion and get wiped out, most of them, or they'll just walk off the job if any of them still are on the job, so to speak. Which is kind of funny considering that we're maybe heading in that direction. And then this week the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection just came out with the original Battlefront 2 campaign, which had a clone rebellion in it. So it's like kind of funny how things like that line up. Sort of kind of like how Republic Commando was re-released around the time that the Bad Batch even started. So it's cool to see these old things coming back and kind of coinciding and lining up with the new things touching on similar subject matter. So, and I gotta say, in terms of my favorite scene from these two episodes, I did really like the exchange between Crosshair and Omega. So it's like they're about to go through a trek through a jungle where they're gonna get shot at, but he's making sure she's got everything like a parent before they go on a family vacation. It's like, got your crossbow, yes. You sure you can carry those supplies? Yes. It's like, remember to keep up. It can be easy to fall behind in this terrain. It's like, seriously, you're worse than Hunter. It's like, oh no, I'm much worse. It's like, it's so cute. Crosshair's character arc is just going to be so good, but it's like, because now we're seeing the softer side of him, but he's still kind of got sadistic's not the right way. It's still kind of a cold sense of humor, and this is his version of being kind of parental, and I love it. It's really great. So yeah, really good episodes. Sad episodes in a lot of ways, but still really good episodes. I'm excited to see how this continues. Also, the first episode this season without Hemlock? No, that was last episode. Never mind. So take that note and strike it from the record. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. No, really quick. Before I do actually go, if you're watching this on the day of, or like early Saturday morning, so like early 3:16 or later tonight on 3:15, as I'm recording this, I may be, speaking of the Battlefront collection, I may be streaming the Battlefront Classic Collection tomorrow around 1:30 Central Time. The reason I say I might be is because some of you might know that the online servers are a little wonky. And the idea is that I'm trying to play it with all my friends, because it's like this is a very nostalgic game for all of these two games. Are very nostalgic for us, so we want to play it together. The only thing is whether or not the online servers are going to be good enough for us to actually play it together. So if that does happen, I'll probably be streaming around that time. Again, that's going to be about around 1:30 Central Standard Time. No, hold on. I'm saying I'm stupid. Sorry. No, this is not going to be tomorrow, the 16th. This would be Sunday the 17th. Excuse me. We play a lot on Saturdays. We're doing it Sunday this week, but I'm stupid. So, reiterating, very end before I go, 3:17 around 1:30 Central Time. If the servers are well enough, we may be streaming the Battlefront collection. And having some good nostalgic times there. Again, if the servers want to cooperate. If not, then we'll probably just play something else off stream on our own. So if you're watching that before if you're watching this before Sunday the 17th, then there's something you can tune into if you want to. If we end up doing it, well, we'll have to see. And then even if you miss it, it's a live stream. You can go back and watch it, and I'm sure I'll probably put up a highlight eventually of whatever funny moments there may be. But yeah, so thank you for watching that if you do watch it. But now it's actually time to go. So then thank you for watching this. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.